chat slash stream slash everyone else. Hello and good night. No, goodbye. What are we talking about? Nothing's happening yet. Nobody's listening. This is for the VOD viewers only. What's up, VOD monsters? VOD monsters, yo. Chillin', hanging out. Got our first match coming up. I should try to start the stream a little bit earlier. Just so that, Goodbye. Thank you. I should start the stream earlier so that there's a little bit more of an introduction, like, cause people usually come on when like notifications happen, right? Like notifications come on your screen and say things like that. Check out the chat room. Twitch chat. Anybody here yet? No, just me. Me, myself, and I. Do you guys remember that Beyonce song? I remember that Beyonce song. How'd it go? Me, myself, and I is do or die, cause now I'ma be my own best friend. Was it something like that? And then there's like a rotating camera, and you would see multiple Beyoncés walking and crawling and kind of like screaming to the camera. Anyways, Game Realms in beautiful Burbank, California. We are here. We are ready to hang out. Ready to get some games started. We've got Chris Majora versus Commander Jesse coming up first on stream for you fellas, you stream monsters that nobody is here yet. It's okay. My name is Neil, aka Spacing Cowboy. You can find me at Spacing Cowboy on Twitter. Give me a shout out. Tell me that my commentary is absent-minded and all over the goddamn place. And for that, I apologize. But you are who you are, right? We're doing a special tournament tonight. Special. I don't know if it's special or not, but we're trying some new things. We're going to do this all 3 out of 5. That is right. All the way through. 3 out of 5. This has been a sort of discussion in the community as of late, whether 3 out of 5 makes a better sort of for better results, whether it shows people with a higher skill cap higher skill level more consistently winning. So we're gathering some data, doing some stuff, doing some experiments. Shout outs to people who are helping with that. But into the match, we've got Chris Majora, like I said, on Ryu, up against Jesse, who's pulled out his Mika for this match. Wake up stand jab from Majora. Ooh, goes for the parry there. Big neutral jump. Always a good tool against Mika. Her drop kick gets pretty consistently blown up by neutral jump. And her command grabs, of course. If you feel like you have a read on a command grab and you neutral jump, of course, that's going to give you the biggest reward, right? Essentially get a jump in combo when you land down. Crown comes off for Mika. We're going to match big drop kick. Confirm into Flying Peach. Neutral jump to get the stun. What do you think Mika grabs onto when she picks people up like that? Ryu's easy because he has the belt around the waist, you know? So it's like a judo throw almost. But do you think she just like grips whatever they're wearing? And if so, how does she grab people in the swimsuit costumes? Or like Zangief? Big crush counter. The funny sort of airborne crush counter. Confirm into EX Flying Peach and into the corner. Nadeshko tag team from the top rope into a stun. Big jump in combo. Has another EX. Will he finish here? No, he goes to the reset. Gets the confirm off the stand strong. And Jesse takes game number 1.
This is the 19th.
Nobody home. Nobody home yet. That's okay. Like I said, for the VOD monsters, I'm doing it for you. Vocal warm-ups. Chris Majora using that back roundhouse. Pretty cool move, actually. Kind of unique in that... So it has that huge startup, right? Hits 2 times. Hits at the top and then hits at the bottom. But that bottom hit has like a weirdly horizontal range. And it's actually his longest reaching poke. And not only that, but after the season 2 or season 2, I think it's season 2, he can now cancel that second hit into a special move. So instead of reuse traditional, say like low forward fireball or sweet fireball from ST type of neutral game, he can almost play neutral with his back roundhouse canceled into fireball. The big downside, of course, being the startup is pretty crazy. However, the first hit is actually a weirdly good anti-air as well, so you kind of cover your bases there. And another stun for Jesse into the corner. Gonna go for the reset again. Good blocks from Chris, trying to work his way out. He's been sitting on critical art for quite a long time. Let's see if he can do it. No, slapped. Mika with the pimp game and pimp hand strong. Getting some back slaps of her own from Nadeshko there. And that's 2 up for Jesse. Returning to character select, I wonder if Chris Majora has a pocket other character, or if he just needs a new costume, maybe a new color, maybe a new color palette. Are any costumes or color palettes illegal in Street Fighter tournaments, or Street Fighter 5 tournaments? I seem to remember in 4, when it came out on console, you had the original costume and the 10 color palettes. And then colors 11 and 12 were like weird sort of stylizations, like cel-shaded or fuzzy stylizations. And I believe they were banned in tournaments because they gave the character a lower opacity, which kind of messes with your ability to see their character doing something. And yes, Chris goes to Ibuki, thinking instead maybe if Ryu can't handle Miko by reacting, maybe if Ibuki sets up an offense correctly, he won't need to react. However, the first round has been a failed experiment so far. Ibuki not doing too well in school, apparently, as a ninja. Needs to prove her alternative hypothesis here in order to get an A. Oh no. Target combo blocked. A lot of pressure from Jesse. A lot of uncharged drop kicks, actually, too. Got a big crush counter on in the game before. Close to stun, anything will do it. And once again, another uncharged drop kick to put him in position to essentially take the round. Confirms into the EX wingless airplane, and that will take it. Jesse takes it 3-0. Yes, indeed. Anywho, yes, we're here, Burbank, California, Game Realms. GameRealms.com, you can see us there. Game-realms.com, rather. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. My name is Neil, aka Spacing Cowboy, and you can follow me on Twitter at Spacing Cowboy, SPACINGCOWBOY. Let's talk recent events. As if you hadn't heard enough about it already, the eclipse just happened yesterday, right? One of the first eclipses to be visible over North America in, I think, 600 years or something like that, in terms of total eclipses.
I think the thing about that is that it's the first eclipse to cross over the continental United States.
Okay.
In over 600 years, because I think there's an eclipse that people saw in the 70s. Eclipse happen every single year, all over the world. Most of the time, it's in the middle of the ocean, and nobody can go actually watch it.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's maybe sometimes just partial and not like a total one.
But this most recent one was a significant one because it crossed the entire continental United States. I think there's going to be another one that goes kind of southwest to northeast in 2024. At least what I remember.
Right.
In the next like 5 to 10 years, it's going to happen. I just know that.
Cool.
But it's exciting. Apparently, it's just a sight to behold.
Did we lose internet connection?
So good.
It still says there's KB per seconds here.
Right.
Maybe I should pick a different. I should pick YouTube. Uh-oh.
That's not good.
Where did our internet go? I don't know. I think we're back. I should probably stop streaming and start streaming again. And we're back. A little bit of a internet snafu there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, friends, comrades, Romans,
Yeah.
countrymen. Lend me your ears. We are coming up on our second match of the tournament here. Of course, tonight's tournament, if you hadn't heard the commotion on Twitter, it is all 3 out of 5. So doing a bit of a test experiment here. Some sort of a
small scale, see if changing the rules actually will change the way the winner turnout is and how the game's played, you know?
Right. We are masters of our domain, masters of our tournament. We can change the environment, change the parameters, and see if the result that we get is better, worse, and or the same as what we had before.
Yeah.
2 out of 3. I'm not. You know, I started playing fighting games competitively in 2008, so I'm not deep enough into it to know the etymology of why 2 out of 3 was picked. I mean, a lot of times we talk about arcade culture, and that was just one game.
It was one game.
And you see this actually in tournaments that have the roots in the arcade. For instance, SBO in Japan is all one game, and that's definitely has something to do with the fact that it is one game in the arcades as well. Right. So I don't know why America sort of landed on 2 out of 3, but
I think, and this is just one of those things, like there's an attempt to get rid of the randomness of a one match kind of win. You have one match, and it's like you'll have a degree of people kind of rising through the bracket who aren't necessarily skilled, but are maybe lucky, and what I think they wanted to eliminate is the kind of the actual chance, and kind of concentrate on the actual skill level. I'm not sure. 2 out of 3 I think is pretty conventional for Street Fighter V. I think across the world as well as
yes.
And then there's the other thing, whereas they go the best 3 out of 5 in the finals rounds.
Yes.
I think that is more determined because you have two people who are assumably the best of the best in that tournament, and you really want to get to a degree of skill about how good these people are, and so you throw them into a bunch of matches, and so the winner will rise to the top because you have that many instances that the randomness will be kind of taken out.
Yeah, a tournament is a test. It is a test that you take, right? That we're all taking together. And if you were to go to school, if you go to college, and you were to, after 4 weeks, the teacher says, okay, we have a test on chapters 1 through 4. If they handed you a test that had one question on it randomly picked from one of the chapters, your true knowledge of the subject and the grade you get on the test are going to be further away the less amount of questions you have, right? So if we take that analogy and apply it to Street Fighter, the idea being that the quote better player, which is a question in itself, the quote better player will win more of the time the higher the number of games are.
Right.
And the biggest constraint over time that most people have obeyed is the idea of logistics, right? It's hard. You can't run, and not everyone can do a first to 10 set if there's 100 people in the tournament. Yeah. So, kind of the basis of the idea tonight, and we will see what happens. But super interested in that development. Any sort of development that we can do to improve the fighting game community, improve how everyone feels about the game is always welcome.
I mean, think about it this way: the whole invention of the losers bracket in general is in regard to the fact that the person might have had a bad match in the get-go, or they could have been a bad matchup, but it's not necessarily a bad player, you know. And
Yes.
so it allows a bad player, even though against higher stakes and odds, to actually go up against and perhaps win the tournament, even if you do get one loss.
Yes, good friend of mine, guy I used to do commentary with back in the day with League of Legends, always used to joke around, shout outs to Joe, aka 90 Joe, used to joke around that the only other competitive sport in the world that has double elimination brackets is Olympic Judo. And that we are fairly unique when it comes to the fact that we have a loser's bracket, so to speak.
That's a really weird, like, other sport.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be funny. It'd be fun, and it would be interesting if, let's say, and once again, I don't know the etymology, but it would be fun to find out if there was some person who just ended up making the tournaments, making fighting game tournaments when it first was starting out, and he just happened to be like, "Oh, my dad was a judo guy." I'm like, it just makes sense to me, right? It has to be double elimination. Don't you want that second chance?
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff. As that's been going on, Valiant has been taking rounds, and eventually the first game here in his match versus JC. JC playing his Cammy, and he's been, of course, on his hitbox as usual. I'm not sure if you can see it in the webcam. Doesn't look like you can, but believe me when I tell you that his left hand is not making half circles. He's simulating half circles and quarter circles with his button presses. So shoutouts to him. I think he's been putting in a lot of work trying to get better with the hitbox.
The hitbox is just a kind of an interesting thing in general. A lot of fighting games is about the feel of the joystick. I mean, that's why a lot of people who start off on
American Cab circle gates.
Right, yeah. And they start on that and then kind of work their way up and kind of mod their thing. So if it's just right, and there's been a movement more recently from people who higher skilled players who are skilled on the controller
On the pad, yeah.
And to actually cross over to see how they feel about it, you know, and a lot of them actually like the feel of the control stick after they get a hold of it. Which, I mean, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of learning, but I think there's something to it. But the hitbox itself is like you're getting rid of the stick in general, and it's adding a whole nother level to how that is, because your hand doesn't actually have to move.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just your fingers, and that takes a different set of dexterity and different thought process.
Well, and also introduces possibilities that just aren't there. I mean, when you think about traditional a joystick, you can't be holding right and left at the same time.
Right.
And now with the hitbox, with each direction being represented by a button, you can do things like that. And so it comes down to, is this okay? Does this introduce unfair advantages to people with hitboxes? There's a great video by, I mean, still there, but the people that make Hitbox Arcade, I believe, have these great videos on YouTube about simultaneous opposite cardinal directions, SOCD. So how each game interacts with you holding up and down at the same time or left and right at the same time. And tricky little things you can do where, I remember in Street Fighter 4, if you're holding, let's say you're holding right and you want to dash right, all you have to do is tap left and keep your hand on right. And the game recognizes that as right. Because it would recognize simultaneous opposite cardinal directions, SOCD, as a neutral input. Right. So you go from right to neutral to right, which is the input for a dash. So it was interesting to see how that worked. I know there's a lot of controversy in Marvel, because a lot of that game is so much high-low and left-right blocking. And if you can do both technically at the same time, are you cheating? Did it recognize SOCD as neutral or both? I think in some situations it did, some situations it didn't. It was sort of puzzling. But yeah, definitely an interesting innovation in terms of fighting games. And it's cool to see as we move further and further away from the arcades, as sad as that makes me personally. It's nice to see different people approach the game a different way and use whatever tools they have at their disposal.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is that whether or not developers will spend the time to make all the different variations of the controls.
Ooh, yeah, interesting.
Because you have something where they're trying to eliminate a competitive advantage, some people feel like there is a competitive advantage with the hitbox or even the stick, depending on how you use it. Trying to eliminate that through just the coding in the background that allows it so if he does a neutral and it'll only actually register the first hit until you remove the trigger from the actual hitbox to actually try to negate kind of the double input. But it's also the fact that like you're eliminating the possibility of someone kind of moving a combo really quickly. You know, it's
right.
It's I think it's very hard, and I don't know whether or not actually developers should be stepping into it or just allowing the players to kind of sort them out itself.
Well, it's sort of it's a good point you bring up, because if they can't predict the future in terms of what people are going to do, how much resources are they going to put towards trying to possibly eliminate any sort of problem that could arise? So I agree with you. I think it's up to us. It's up to the players to decide. It's up to the community to decide what's best for us, and not have to put that pressure, that onus on the developer. I agree completely.
I mean, it'll end up creating a meta if there's one thing that kind of stands out, especially in a community where you have so many different variations of controllers you can use.
Right.
Especially if it's like there's one particular fight stick that might work better with Street Fighter than any other games, and the professionals will all use the same stick.
Well, and you see that across communities too. In general, Tekken seems to have more pad and more Korean back top circle gate as well. So it's a perfect example of exactly what you're saying. Is these things emerge? You know, they say in esports a lot, emergent gameplay, right? It wasn't designed, it wasn't intentional from the designers, but it happens. And as things happen, so do Valiant's wins. He takes it 3-0 over JC, and he will be moving on in the brackets to face the winner of Gamma and Gamer Harry, which is happening off stream currently. Anyways, Game Realms, Burbank, California. Introduce yourself to the people in case they don't know.
My name is Matthew. I actually work here at Game Realms. Worked here for a while, so it's a really cool shop. You should actually stop by if possible. We sell new and used games, all the way from original NES to the current systems, PS4 obviously, since we're doing Street Fighter 5, PS4 and Xbox One. We try to be as fair as possible in pricing, and try to find as much as possible. We're all gamers actually who work here, so and we enjoy kind of being able to provide that kind of gameplay or games to people who actually want to play them. So if you're trying to complete a collection, or you're just trying to reminisce, it's a perfect place for you to go, and we'll help you out as much as possible.
Dude, agreed. They have a stand over here. I wonder if I could even see it. Okay, it's sort of over there, behind where they're playing. I don't know if you can see it. It's like this little stand where there's some magazines there.
Yeah, right.
Right there. Okay, so I was over there and I was looking at it, and so my household had an EGM subscription when I was younger, and there was some wonderful nostalgia that I accidentally fell into there. Gex 2: Return of the Gecko. You guys remember that game for PS1?
Oh my god.
Dude, they had a EGM magazine that was a cover story that was like the 7th Final Fantasy. What's this game gonna be like? And you're like, oh my gosh, they had no idea.
It's interesting because I end up looking through some of those, and it's like these games that we know have been classics.
Yeah.
And like they're like, this game, it might be something cool. We don't really know, and it's like, oh man, like I think I saw an old Kingdom Hearts one where it's like they have this weird drawing where it's like Square Enix and Disney. Who wants that?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
And then you also have these weird ones where it's like these games that went nowhere, and like they get the cover story, and they're like, this is going to be the game of the year, and you're like, wow, that game was bad. You know,
very interesting.
Yeah, I had a Cube subscription. I think we all of us had a Game Informer subscription at some point. It's just
Game Pro.
Game Pro.
Back in the Dizzy. One of the things that I used to like about it was, I don't know, this I guess depends on your taste, but I liked how you could follow a person throughout the magazines who would review games, and you sort of got to know how they thought about games and how much you could put in their review.
Right.
And they did a lot of stuff about, they did sort of discussions where they would have Q&As with certain editors, or one of the ones I was looking at, they had a thing where half the staff chose Xbox as their console and half the staff chose a GameCube. And then they sort of talked about the pros and cons of each, and after 1 year, how did each console turn out. So it was cool to see. I really liked...
I think that's kind of where the game critique community is really going. I mean, that's why YouTubers are having such kind of positive impact, because it's like you have these critics who, for larger scale companies, not to say that there aren't really great ones for IGN or like, or there's stuff in Game Informer or there's a
like Kotaku and stuff.
Kotaku and all this other stuff, where unfortunately the brand name of the company kind of overshadows them. So it makes it seem like this brand, this Kotaku or this the Game Informer, actually this is what they overall rate them. Where you have a bit more nuance with, you have this community of like YouTubers who are reviewing the games, and they build a stock of like, I like this type of game, I don't really like that kind of a game, and so you're like, oh, this guy has a very similar interest to me, and that's like following the actual people who write the articles.
Yep.
And like and this is just something I thought of, was just like, I did not follow that. Like, I didn't follow particular people. Like, I read some of the reviews and like all this other stuff, especially for games that I wanted to get. But I didn't take the time to actually look up who was writing the reviews. And so it was just overall, like for me, it was just a picture of like, this is what the whole magazine thought of this one game. Whereas like, it's not like, oh, this is what this one person is. And maybe those magazines and those people need to put the name of the critic up front and center and go like, hey, you can click into his page. This is the types of games that he likes, and this is how he kind of responded to it. So if you have similar interests, this might be a good critic for you.
Yes.
Or just the way they write. But it's just, again, with a smaller YouTuber, it's like you're following the actual person, and you feel like you have a little bit of a better relationship with them.
Agreed.
Rather than a larger company.
Well, I think it's interesting because you bring up a good point with the YouTuber thing, where it's almost the ability to put your information out there has become easier.
Right,
so they haven't had to rely on, say, the publisher or the whatever. And like you said, not having to do that allows you to build your own brand, have people be familiar with what type of games you like, and then if they match up with you, or they go, oh, I bought this game because he said it was cool and they had fun, that's just like that double reward value after that, right? They go, well, I'm going to go back and see his other review. I'm going to go back and interesting part of sort of point.
I've actually had people come in here, and they're like, oh, they're angry video game nerd. They're like, oh, he was playing this game last week,
good.
And they're like, I wanted to get this game because it's just like, it looks very fun. Like, I wanted to see what it was about. And I'm like, I think that's really positive, because these YouTube reviewers especially aren't stuck to just playing the new stuff. There's a lot of them who go back and play a lot of retro games and show you kind of like, they're like, oh, this is how this was, and it kind of brings life to the community, because it's like unlike a lot of like other kind of mediums with television, where it looks really dated. Video games has a format where, the technology itself might be dated, but the games are still completely fun. Like a good movie is still a good movie 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep.
And being able to kind of touch back on that kind of brings life and breathes life into the gaming community as a whole.
Dude, I love AVGN. I think as recently as a month ago, I maybe ran through all of his old, like that first playlist of like Top Gun.
Yeah, oh my god.
And Back to the Future and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Dude, that review is hilarious. Man, good times. Castlevania trilogy.
Yeah.
Chronologically confused about the Zelda timeline.
Right.
It's good stuff. And we're going to be having our next match on stream here. We're going to have Guilty versus Javi Rog. Guilty was playing JD with Cammy just off stream. We were able to see it a little bit. I should have been live tweeting it. I apologize. Sorry for that stream. But you'll have to. That's one of the things. You know what? We can't do everything. Sometimes you got to come down. Sometimes you got to come down and get the full experience. You can always level up. You can always get more information. You can always have a more complete and full experience if you physically come down and watch the games happen. Not only for the magic of in-person fighting games as I've described before, but also the fact that there are casuals stations set up after the tournament. So I think I've talked about this with Jesse when he's been on commentary before, but he's willing to run sets.
Right.
Like other people, other top players here. Like, look at these two players we have up here, Guilty and Javirog. Excellent players, and we're nice people. Like, typically, someone is most of the time willing to play you at least a couple casual matches. And what other? I mean, if you live anywhere near Southern California or anywhere near any metropolitan area in general, you live in a time that is very unique in your ability to find and match people who can help you level up.
Now, a good tidbit about that is that actually, as another is that the actually spectating and all those type of stuff, except for participating in the actual tournament, is free. We wanted to make
that's
sure,
right.
So
Good point.
It's
Very good point.
Open, so if you wanted to ever come down here just to take a look, kind of communicate with these people and see what everyone's playing. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'd be open to having you play some of the casual games. Not out of the question, but everybody's really nice, and especially if you want to kind of just get into the fighting scene, or you're just not confident that you're good enough to play, or you want to check it out. Like, it's completely free to spectate, so the entry barrier eventually is really low, and we actually have a good time, and people just talk to you, and it's very friendly environment. So if you ever want to come by, you're more than welcome to have you.
Yes, indeedy, and that is Game Realms in Burbank, California. You can find us at game-realms.com, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Into the match, we have Guilty on Abigail, aka #Dabigail, which we're seeing a little bit of a noogie action right now. No, blocks the EX on Wake Up, and Javirog punishes accordingly. Always got to check with anyone facing up against Abigail. Do they have the knowledge yet? I mean, the character's been out for a month now, but still, it's the newest character, so you always got to wonder: did people worry about learning the character, learning the matchups? And so far, it seems like Javirog does know what he's doing. Of course, it is a 3 out of 5 tournament, so Guilty may be feeling more comfortable getting that first game as a Abigail thing. Oh, Mr. FB is back. Hey, boys. FB, aka Art Fey Owner Bay. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do Pig Latin for your name, so I don't have to say it on stream constantly. Art Fey Owner Bay. Owner Bay? No, I'll just call you Owner Bay. Anyways, Jason, how about that MVCI trailer? Dude, how about it indeed? I was watching it, and my favorite part was when Krillin and Piccolo came out. That was my favorite part of that trailer for sure. So I'm really excited for the new versus tag game. I think it's cool how they kind of have a more animated style towards it. And yeah, super interested.
Round 1. Fight.
I would agree that seems easier to say. However, the decision as to whether I say it or not is not only decided by its ease of pronunciation, if you catch my drift. Anyways, Guilty going back to Dalsum here. No surprise that it's been going better. Been going better for her immediately. Off to a huge lead. Huge lead already. Thrust kicked into mix up into stun. Back throw for maximum meter gain. Yoga freeze in the air to show off. And we're into round number 2. An audible expletive coming from Guilty after the missing of that ensnare teleport. Big crush counter. What's the setup? Dash. Balrog working on his footwork recently. Haven't seen Javi come out to a tournament here in a month or so. I'm excited to see the presence of Balrog back. People talk about how it's a top tier character. And I think that having people that pick and play the top tier characters well is always good, because it sort of sets a standard, it sets a minimum for how other people have to play and react. Imagine, as a thought experiment, if you would, a community that was playing, say, MVC2 back in the day. And since it was sort of geographically a little bit more limited, let's say this was in, I don't know, Jackson's Hole, Wyoming. God, is it Jackson Hole, Wyoming? I can't remember. Adding the possessive S to that makes it sound much dirtier than it is. Anyways, it's like a place where people go to visit Yellowstone. Anyways, imagine if they only played, like they didn't understand Sentinel unfly combos. They didn't understand like Storm, Psylocke. They didn't understand Magneto, anything like that, right? If they only played Kinesis and like Captain Commando teams, and like Marrow was like their favorite character because, dude, she shoots bones from her body and stuff, right? If that was the case, also Javi Rog is up 2-0, so my bad, not been keeping up with it. If that was the case, how embarrassing would it have been when they would travel to, say, EVO to play at those tournaments, right?
26th win.
That's the magic, that's the importance, not magic, that's the importance of top tier in your community. You need to know, if you decide to pick who you want to play, right? At least have the knowledge. Don't be ignorant, right? At least be aware of what you need to beat in order to be the best. And you do see this with certain people. VDO, I think was his name. He was a very popular low-tier playing character in MVC2. Played like Colossus 10 team, something like that. Anyways, Javi Rog putting himself on match point here. 2-0. Guilty teaming a little frustrated. Maybe once again haven't played Javi Rog in a while. Perhaps his certain style of Balrog may be causing some problems eluding her. He's always starting off with some convincing rounds here, but I mean, as is the character design of Balrog, Javi Rog seems to be coming back and using that momentum to his advantage. Almost building up stun. The reversal to stop the counter V trigger from Guilty. Coming out of the fire, but Guilty pushing him back in. No, another headbutt. Really spinning his V trigger there to keep Guilty in the corner, and the stun will finish the round. Javi Rog takes it. Good work from him. Good to see him back. I don't know if he just couldn't come out to Game Realms recently, or if there were some other things that he was taking care of. But once again, regardless, good to see him. And shoutouts to him. See what else we got in the chat so far. Jason, of course. Biruski, Classico FGC, Gevo. What's up, Gevo? And Juno973. Thank you guys for showing up, hanging out. Looks like we're gonna have Gamma and Valiant coming up here. And then Artfey Ownerbay is in the chat too, but he's not. I can't see him in the viewer list. So maybe, dude, do you have invisible turned on? Are you trying to stealthily be in chat? Jason bringing up the Eclipse, telling me that the Eclipse changed me. This is possible. So we are from Southern California, I guess. The royal we. I live in Los Angeles here, and the so-called band of totality for the Eclipse, in terms of longitudinal proximity, was Oregon and around Salem, which is not the northernmost, not as north as Portland, but definitely up there, right? If you were to drive directly from Los Angeles, taking the 5 all the way there, it would take about 14 hours, which is what I ended up doing. And I had plans with friends earlier, but it kind of fell through, so I last minute just drove up and drove down. So it was essentially 28 hours of driving over 2 days. And not gonna lie, I think that did change me a bit. So you're probably right, Jason. Jason. Wait, am I pronouncing that right? Is it supposed to be Jason? Or is it supposed to be like Jason? Is it sad or happy? Is it like snap? Snap, but with your name? Like snap. I don't know, man. I'm kind of delirious. I literally got in at 10 a.m. Like I drove back. I got here at 10 a.m. and I slept from 10 to like 6:30, and I woke up, ate some food, and drove over here. So tomorrow's gonna be weird. That's gonna be sleep schedule's kind of messed up.
For those who I wish to
Anywho,
protect,
like a disappointment I am. So it's supposed to be Jason. Picked the wrong overlay. Anyways, we're gonna do it Valiant and Gamma. Gamma going with his patented Cami. Valiant, of course, with his Bison. A lot of pressure here from Gamma in the corner. 3 standing strongs in a row. EX to get in. Good defense though from Valiant so far. Not been a lot of combos. Not like a lot of frame traps that have succeeded. Little things here and there. And he is moments away from V-Trigger. Table's sort of turning here. Pressure from Valiant. Both players playing pretty safe. This should be a big punish from Gamma. He does get the V-Trigger combo, saves the second one. Whenever Cammy has that, you know, yep, they're just waiting to use it. V-Trigger activate for Valiant. Gets the counter hit and will confirm off of the Psycho Fountain to finish the round. Magic Pixel there for Valiant. Jumping strong to start off the pressure. Wow! A couple of counter hit strongs, a pair, a 3 of a kind. So many counter hits here. Every button working out for Gamma right now. You gotta wonder if he just slightly altered the same timing from last round where not everything was working. And the standing jab anti-air to beat the Devil's Reverse. Gamma coming back with a passion here. Jumping strong trades this time. I was going to remark on the usefulness of jumping strong. Valiant switching up the timing on his Devil's Reverse there. The back strong from Gamma whiffing. Both players choosing to go in at the same time. A couple standing forwards to check the distance. Kind of Cammy's weapon. Ooh, good counter pokes. Another counter poke. Once again, the buttons that Gamma is deciding to use right now, giving him the best fortune. Good confirmed. Pressure, excellent defense from Valiant there. Such a tough place to be in with his back against the wall. Definitely wanted to stand, or a V-Trigger cancel off of that slide. Gamma maybe recognizing it, standing right outside of range and punishing with the EX Spiral Arrow combo. And Gamma goes up 1-0 here.
Player 2 has a 10-win streak.
Of course, everything is tonight a best of 5. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for a battle of wills here. At what point, I will pose the question, and please keep it in your minds, at what point does Street Fighter become a war of attrition? And is this the thing, is that something that we necessarily need to advocate for and or avoid? Confirm off the strongs. Valiant in an excellent position right now. Controlling, playing a little bit slower. He triggers soft, or V-reversal soft combo rather, using his own stand forward. Says I have a button too. And Gamma getting a big confirm as well. Once again, V-reversal. Kind of a tricky situation since the move started on the other side. Thank goodness for the knockdown because otherwise it was almost a vacuum pulling Cammy back into him. Definitely not where he wants her to be. And the stand jab anti-air that he has himself. Excellent work from Valiant.
Round 2. Fight.
Valiant seeming to opt for that walk backwards defensive option instead. Worked out well from there, but now he's in the corner. DX scissors, why not? Get some pressure off of him. One of the classic decisions that rushdown characters have to decide, gets the confirm or the buffer? Gotta be a buffer into critical art off the low fears. Far-reaching move that Cammy players generally reserve for V-Trigger activation and maybe sometimes counter pokes, but Gamma, we've seen it 2 times in a row now. Last tournament and tonight. using it to cancel into his critical art when just out of range. Buffering it in there. The Echo Fountain into Stomp, so close, almost death for Gamma. Can he stay strong on the defense? He does with the view reversal. Gets the crouch strong, but it doesn't confirm. Both players on such low health. And the standing forward will take the round for Gamma 1-1 here in the second game.
Final round. Fight.
Both players getting a first attack there. A couple of jabs traded, I believe. V-skill to get in. Gamma not using V-skill often, so every now and then it's always good. I believe it's +1 or +2 on block. Chat, you guys know? It's definitely an advantage, but has that slow startup, sort of a similar genre of move compared to, I'd say, like a Mika dropkick or something. And the person that could definitely answer this question for me, JD, is hopping on the mic. How many frames positive is Cammy's V skill on block? 2?
2. Yeah.
2, +2. Okay, that's what I thought. I was talking about how Gamma uses it pretty sparingly. I think most Cammy players, once you get to a certain level, don't use it that often just because of the slow startup, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was comparing it to Mika's dropkick, saying like, definitely nice when you get that on block. You get in, you get the mobility, you build the V trigger,
Right.
get the mobility, you get the advantage. But if you get crush countered, woof,
That's it.
that's it.
You know what's crazy?
What's
Man,
crazy?
Every game seems like it's grand finals.
Ah,
Like literally, I was just like, what is this?
yes,
Like a marathon.
it is like a marathon.
And this is just the first game?
This is the second game.
Or second game? I was like, man, they've been on there for like a long time.
Right. It's the EX
The
cannon
is that
spike.
the autocorrect?
I saw, you could see Gamma's whole body just contort when he put that input in.
Yeah, I saw that for a second. That was like an autocorrect DP.
That was insane. With the devil breathing down his neck.
Round 1.
So Neil, do you think that we're gonna run it like this the whole time, or this is just an experimental thing?
Currently, this is an experiment, but depending on the results of the experiment, it may cause an entire thing.
Okay, there's like the beta testing, because I know like the Smash format's like this. It's like a 3 out of 5 type scenario.
Yeah, so I talked about this with JC a little off stream, and I posed the question earlier to chat in a kind of probably overly poetic way. Ooh, misses the stand first after that. As a Cammy player, you must know that you have to recognize if you're going to be out of range for the second hit, and sometimes you just have to go raw into Spiral Arrow, right?
Or you could have just went down medium kick, because that's like the one that has the longest range.
The longest normal range, that's right.
But you know, you don't want it to go first. Usually the heavier buttons do more damage.
Yes, and he pays for it there in losing this round.
Sorry, he has like one more game to win.
Yes. So me and JC were talking about it. Something that I posed to the chat earlier was, at what point does Street Fighter become a war of attrition? And is that something that we'd like to advocate for, or is that something that we'd like to avoid?
You know, I don't know. Well, some people might agree with the fact that they get more games out of it. Like I can see that being one point.
Okay.
And for other seasoned like veterans or whoever wanted to just like hurry up and get it over with, you know, it might be a little bit harder for them because of the adaptation.
Yes.
And it's just basically, like I said before, it's like playing it like as if every game was a grand finals.
Yeah.
So like how would they do the last part of the end of it, you know?
4 out of 7.
See, that's it.
5 out of 9. 6 out of 11.
You know, but I'm willing to give it a shot because it does put more games on the board.
Yeah.
And that I definitely, as a player, I do appreciate that more. You know.
Okay.
And it's fun because you always want to play, right?
Yeah. So always working more games is fun. And speaking of games, we just saw Valiant take his first game in this best of 5 match against Gamma.
Does not want to be in this one. Okay, good activation on the V trigger.
But yeah, so it's an interesting question, and I think that we are the masters of our environment, right? We're the ones that set up. Like there's no governing body for Street Fighter, right?
Right.
Like we don't have to report to some league or some whatever. we just have to decide what we want to do. And 2 out of 3 seems to be just a thing that someone decided and that people stuck with, and then it's not burned the house down. Like it's lasted fine so far. But is it optimal? And I guess that's the question that people like Christitarian, people like Commander Jesse, and JC are working on right now. So it's always interesting to see. Gamma has put himself on match point here. Have you? Go ahead.
I was like, Valiant's still not out of it though.
No, not at all. I think last tournament, I can't remember if it was winners semis or something, but he had quite a run against I think it was Gamma or Jesse last time, where he nearly came back the whole way.
Yeah.
So, and Bison, of course, a pretty momentum-based character, especially aggravated against someone like Cammy with low health. It's easier to make those comebacks. So definitely we can see it here.
Good punish by Valiant. Nice tech.
Both players have been using stand jab or crouch jab as good anti-airs against each other. I saw Gamma use Cammy's stand jab to beat out regular Devil's Reverse.
I think Gamma dashed in a little too much there. He was chasing a little too much there.
And Valiant's trying to tie this up 2-2. If he wins this game, he will do that and send it to a fifth and final game.
Seems like they've been here for like more than 10 minutes.
Yes, I wonder. Well, I think this is the first match on stream that we'll see that will go to not only. I mean, we're in the 4th game right now. I think that's the most it's gone to so far. And then if they go to the 5th game, the only 5th game that I've seen, which must be pushing the 10-minute, if not 12, 13-minute mark.
Yeah.
Chat, let us know what you think. Are you guys in favor of 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5? How about just one game? What do we think about one game? Is that cool?
Sudden death? Okay, he's gonna kill. Let's see, it's scaling. I think it's
Really close.
Oh, no.
It kills. Gamma takes it. 3-1. Good stuff to him. Okay, so I was thinking about the argument, right, of like.
Oh shoot, I gotta go play.
Okay, well, best of luck, sir.
Thank you, brother. I didn't know I was talking too close to the mic.
It's
Sorry.
okay. No, dude.
Sorry,
We don't have any feedback, so we use them, which is great.
It was like really muffled.
Totally fine. Thank you, JD, aka Kuya Brad, for dropping on the mic. Thank you, chat, for letting us know. Like I said, we don't have any feedback here. We don't have any. We don't have anybody like overviewing, over managing. What would you call that? Managing the stream, I guess. So we rely on the no audio engineer. That's the word. Thank you. Yeah, no audio engineer on board. Chat monitoring. There you go. That was not managing, monitoring. So we appreciate the chat for giving us some feedback there. Okay, so I was thinking about the philosophical extremes of this 3 out of 5 debate, right? So if you take logistics of time away from it, right? Did I say this already? Someone tell me if I said this already. I'm fucking delirious from driving so much. If you take time out of it, on one side you have like a first to 100, and then so if I don't know, it's tough to say it because I don't necessarily agree with the definition, but the true skill gap of the players, the more games that there will be, the more likely that the outcome matches the true skill, right? So that's one side of it. But how funny would it be if you consider the other side, the other philosophical extreme? Not even one game, right? Not even one round, but the first person to get an attack. Like, you know how the game has the first attack little tag when someone hits? What if we had a tournament where it was literally first attack? Wouldn't that be tight? Like, Dalsum would be top tier, right? Like, have to be. Who else would be good? Firewall characters would be good. Guile would be really good, right? Zangief would be trash, like absolute garbage. We should do that. Fun tournaments would be fun, like wacky rules. Like first to 7, race to 7, first attack. Wouldn't that be great? I think that'd be super fun. You guys remember Rose Ball from Street Fighter 4? Shoutouts to Street Fighter 4. Rose Ball was a game where both players would pick Rose, and you would play it like tennis, because Rose, of course, had the reflects in that game, or in every game, I imagine. and one player would serve, just like in tennis, and then the only move that you could hit anything with was the reflect. You could always do fakes. You could do like a jab, or like a dash, or a jump. I don't remember if they ever refined the rules enough to make it so like you couldn't go across the training mode line, or what it was. But I don't know, dude. Little things like that, little like side tournaments, little side bets. They make the world go round, right? It's the small things. Blink 182 said it best, right? Big block drop kick. JD committing to the read though, going for the EX cannon spike. Shout out to Dreamcast. Blocks the Nadeshko mix up, good stuff. And gets the low forward to beat out Mika. Jesse, of course, going with Mika still. This is, let me put the bracket in chat while I check it as well. This is a loser's bracket matchup. So, the person who loses this 3 out of 5 match is going to be, quote, going home, right? Not really going home, because they'll probably stick around, but as they say in the business, quote unquote, going home. Let's check out who else is in chat while we're here. Ajay's in, and Art Faye, Owner Bay, is definitely in the thing. Faye Gwent, the mystical bot, is here, finally. It's about time. Gevo LFSIK, Lifsick, how's it going? And my name is Boris. What's up, guys? How's it going? Haven't seen any opinions in chat about 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. Either it's a boring question or it's too hard to type. I understand both options. That's up to you. I'm just curious what you guys think. So if you have any opinions, please let me know. You can tweet me. You can call me. You can hit me up on my Nextel. Hit me up on the chirp. Shoutouts to 2002. Video is slightly out of sync with audio too. Interesting. I might stop the stream and restart it again. You're talking about like the game sounds, like block stun and everything is off. Big dropkick blocked again. This time, JD going for the option of the reversal. Oh, and Jesse edges it out with the low short. God, that move is so annoying. That move is annoying. Yes, I hear the audio before I say it. Interesting. I think after this match then, I'll stop and restart the stream because we were having, I think, some internet problems earlier. If it keeps going only by 500 milliseconds or so. Okay, interesting. Half a second is pretty noticeable. So if anyone else in the chat has any similar experiences with the audio being before the video, please let me know. Specifically the game, because that's like the same variable, right? It's all coming from the same source. So if you can say see or hear the move coming out before it actually hits, that'd be good to know. JD coming out with Roar this time. There's a huge lead. Mika though is Mika. Uses the Nadeshko, but just out of range for the stand strong. Gets the throw anyway. Setup. And he jumps short. JD missing the confirm after this crouch strong. He has a lot of pressure now. Go. Gets the shimmy, but doesn't do anything with it. Wings the airplane to stop the EX. No, and huge reaction from Jesse. He feels like he had that one after the wingless airplane beat out the V-trigger dive kick. Interesting stuff. Oh, sorry. Jesse is up 1 game. My apologies. JD hitting another EX cannon spike. I feel like that's such an important thing to do against any sort of grappler character is at some point, hopefully maybe earlier in the match rather than later, you have to establish that you're crazy. That you're a little off. There's something you can have that crazy look in your eye, you know? And that you could do an EX reversal at any time. Sometimes you got to be a loose fuse.
Final round. Fight.
I think JD's doing a good job with that. Jesse taking that second round though. Big jump in, gets the throw. JD now has full critical art. I wonder if he's going to use... No, he uses it right away for an EX Hooligan dive kick. Open up, gets the crouch strong. Ooh, good correction by Jesse. Doesn't want to even deal with the neutral jump stuff. Jumps back. Missed the confirm, but no punish from JD as well. Both players affected by the eclipse, maybe. I mean, if there's anyone that's evidence of being a werewolf, it's probably Jesse. I don't think normal people can grow beards that big. JD taking game number 2 as the ambient noise in the room randomly spikes. One thing I will say about this room is the insulation. That's not the insulation. You know how like rooms with wooden floors and non-textured walls like bounce sound off a lot? I think this room is a good example of that. High ceiling. There's no like styrofoam on the wall or anything, so you might hear a lot of echoes. I apologize for that and the ambient noise, but that's the real fighting community, right? Uncensored and raw, coming at you. Shoutouts to a couple more people in chat. Pokemon fan Gabe, what up, Gabe? And Mid Tears, what's up? Yeah, needs sound deadening. Acoustic foam, I agree. It gives it like a weird reverb effect that shouldn't happen naturally, right? Ooh, big stun here from Jesse. Did I do that? Did I add up the games wrong? I think I have the game stuff wrong. I think it's 1-1 right now. I'm so sorry, stream. I don't know what's what. Okay, we'll know eventually. I'll get hype over stuff that shouldn't exist. Command grab in the corner. Ooh, body splash. But no, JD goes for it again. Like I said, you gotta get a little crazy. Goes back to the old adage, if you don't know what you're doing, there's no way that your opponent will, right? So sometimes you gotta take those risks. Another command grab. We'll take it. We'll put Jesse 2-1 up against JD here. Got a bit of a crowd along the backside of the room. I think that, I don't know why people are standing so far away. It is actually kind of strange. Why is everyone, that's weird. Okay. There's something about the area directly behind Jesse and JD that people are worried about. Chat asking about McGregor or Mayweather. I think if you live anywhere in the world that we like to refer to as reality, you have to admit that 99% chance Mayweather's gonna win, and like win handedly, right? But this is the thing about any striking competition, right? There's always a chance, as slim as it may be, it could be 0.1%. There's always a chance that McGregor can land a punch. This is, I think, one of the fundamental differences between striking martial arts and grappling martial arts, is that there's always a chance with the striking. Yes, Mayweather, as much as I hate him, is sort of, I think, like I said, if you are anywhere, if you have any knowledge about boxing or mixed martial arts, in this case boxing, I think you have to admit that Mayweather's most likely going to win, and I think that sentiment that Art Fayoner Bay put along with it is that he is going to win, but I don't like it. I wish he didn't, because yeah, all of the ethical problems and personality problems that he has. Not typically a person that you would want to root for. No, I would argue that I am intentionally pronouncing it right. JD trying to keep it no. Yo, if you ever played JD in Tekken, just pick King, because he cannot handle the giant swing at all. Like, this is ridiculous. He just keeps getting thrown. I feel like he plays King. Didn't he play King when I played him in... I gotta ask him after this. I played him in Tekken like a month ago. I can't remember. I thought he played King. He should not be losing this much to giant swing. James Harden's beard, or Jesse's beard. I've not seen James Harden's beard in person, or I have Jesse's, so I think I'm gonna have to go with Jesse's. They seem about similar size and length, right? I guess maybe the question here is volume. It all depends on... There's no standard for beards, right? And almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, JD falls to giant swing to take the set. Both players reacting, standing up, smiling. Can't believe that happened. JD, who do you play in Tekken? You keep losing to giant swing. What are you doing? You should know. You should be immune to it. See, I was right. I thought he played King. This is ridiculous. How are you gonna play? How are you gonna play King and lose 5 rounds to giant swing? It's the same move! Anyways. Jesse taking it 3-1 here. 3-1 in this best of 5 tournament. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's 4 out of 7 for the finals, but I'm not sure. Javi Rod coming up against Gamma, and this is the winners finals. Like I said, I don't think it's 4 out of 7. I don't think we're following that same paradigm, but I could be wrong. I think it's just 3 out of 5 all the way through. So that's that. Oh man, I'm tired. I apologize. Usually I fill the space a little bit better than this, but like I said, a lot of driving. I went up and saw everything that Middle California can offer. Let me tell you, they got grass. They got plants. They got dirt, dude. Have you seen all the dirt they have? It's crazy. If you ever need dirt and like hills, like foothills and dirt, I'll show you. I'll drive you there myself. It's just that way. You just follow the one road, and it's just there. It's just, everything's there. You can have as much as you want. Because like the other thing too that I think is so funny about like city life versus farm or like agrarian life, as Thomas Jefferson would describe it, is the lack of security because it's superfluous, right? People just leave shit out at these places. Like they'll finish their quote unquote farm work, right? And the things that they work so hard to harvest, whether it be bales of hay, whether it be grass, whether it be whatever it is, they just leave it there, because who's going to steal a bale of hay, right? You can't do it.
Karen is OP.
Gamer Harry coming in and giving us an important tidbit of information that Karen is OP. I don't know if anyone can anyone contest that? Who's gonna
She just lost it. Yo, all her normals are good.
Yeah, who's gonna take up that other side of the argument? Like, no, she's totally mid-tier balanced. We have a person in chat named mid-tiers. Maybe they're an expert on it.
Okay. That's mid-tier. Mid-tier. What do you think?
Mid-tiers. Is Karen mid-tiers? Since you are an expert on the subject, why else would you name your name after it?
I know. If it's a Karen, that's the bias boys.
That's the problem, right? See, here's the oh man, fighting games are so funny like that, right? Where everyone has their own bias of my character is the worst character in the game.
That's complete bullshit if somebody says that, you know, because every character has their own way to be good. Maybe it's just the player. Maybe it's just the player.
It might just be the player.
It might just be the player. Like if you're not winning with no, I'm just kidding. But like last time I was way close to it.
No, you're good. I think you're good. They'll let us know. Well, that's one of the things that's interesting about fighting games, right? Is like if we really wanted to know who's the best, all fighting games would just have one character.
Ooh.
Right?
Everyone should play the same character.
Or everyone should play the same character. We should have Ryu tournaments.
You know? Oh wow, that's just generations back about generations.
Yes. You should make that a thing.
Yo, that'd be like.
I was talking about gimmicky tournaments, like side tournaments, like fun tournaments. You guys remember Rose Ball from Street Fighter 4?
Yeah.
So I was explaining to Chad earlier, just in case they didn't know, in Street Fighter 4, Rosewood had a projectile, and she also had a reflect button of each strength, right? And so you'd play it like tennis, where one person would serve, and then the other person would reflect, and you would reflect, and you would reflect, and you would reflect, and whoever got hit or the ball went past them, they lost that round.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Rose was actually one of my mates. I didn't know anything about it.
Dude, Rose Ball was legit. It was so much fun, and every time you reflected, it did more damage. So at the end, if it was like a crazy volley, it would just KO the person in one hit. Yeah.
Because it keeps on going back and forth, and then for some reason it scaled, and it was ridiculous.
It was so tight.
And I was just like, who invented this
So if you
monstrosity?
fireball over and over, the damage increases.
Yeah, the last, like if it went 10, 20 times last, it would one hit KO.
Facts.
It was so tight. Dude, and people would, they'd do like a meadow started, people would like jab fake and then reflect, or like reflect dash, and you're like, oh, what do I do?
Harry, and you play Rose, so that's facts. Now you know facts.
Well, I mean, reflecting anything more than once was so rare in 4. Like at what point would you have? So first of all, two Roses have to be playing each other, right? So you have to get that right off, and then someone. Well, so in that game in Rose Ball, you would switch like tennis.
Yeah.
So it'd be like so one person would serve and one person would whatever.
That's so cool.
Dude, it
We
was
know the
dope.
perfect place to do it, anyways. Okay, back to the match. Sorry about the delay commentary.
No, dude, that's what.
We got Hobby Rock, MJ Gamma.
We used to know about Rose Ball.
That's all we got, man.
Oh wow, that's stuff down here. Oh, with the confirm with the super Gamma. Got the life rate. Come on, bro. This is not the time, Harry.
I think one of the things.
Oh,
turnaround punch.
What level was that? I think it was like 6. I'm gonna guess 6. Okay, 7. Okay.
Confirms that the Crow Guard shouldn't kill. Oh, Magic Pixel. Anything will do it here. Where did Kami's health go? The switch up EX.
Oh!
Dude, comebacks on comebacks. I'm so glad I didn't bust out the spoiler clips of the heart right there, because I have it ready.
Okay, now that we got like.
I need a better one. I need a better.
3 out of 5, so it's good.
Oh my god, that was.
That was good.
Both players.
Kudos.
Both players keeping all their critical art stock, keeping all their V-trigger, just keeping it away for winter.
You know what's interesting about Balrog is that you're too scared to leave him alone because he has that attack. You don't want him to charge him.
That's interesting. Just as a function of time, the longer the match goes, the more potential time he has to charge up his tap.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Deadly even from far away.
You know, it's funny. You could charge tap easy on the pad. Like literally, you could hold like 2
Have
buttons.
you seen Smug? He's like.
I know it's like.
Like weird.
Yeah, holding tab. I was just like, oh my god.
Using all 10 fingers.
Exactly
All
the same thing.
Yeah. That's a good.
That was good match. I'm just kidding.
No, nothing's
I've only seen
nothing.
Smug one time in my life.
Nothing's exact here. It's all good.
Man, it's
Was
party
that when
time
he
right
was
now.
here for the Zowie tournament? Yeah.
Like, it's party time
That's such
right
a
now.
tight-
I just
that's a tight
activated the
tournament.
trigger. Okay, let's do this. Oh, Gamma still trying to.
Was
Oh.
that 5 stand strongs?
Only like 0.
Stand strong? Plus 2.
Plus 2, I think.
Oh, no, try to me.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one you can counter afterwards.
No frame.
Frame data.
I know the frame.
Just grinding it out here. I'm pretty sure that was either 4 or 5 stand strongs in a row.
I mean, that's the thing.
Why not?
And the range is deceptive.
Yeah, good horizontal range.
Hobby can't let MJ.
Look at the timing on that,
bully
dude.
him right now.
I've seen a couple of matches so far with Gamma where it'll be sequences like that where it'll be 5, 6 blocks in a row, and then the next round he'll switch everything by like
Oh,
0.2
sashimi.
seconds, and everything hits. Every decision working so well for Gamma. They're taking it 3-0, and he advances to
Let me get my keys
grand finals.
Grand final already.
Already?
He's going to be waiting in grand finals right now. That is correct.
Gamma is OP.
I think right now we have Valiant versus Commander Jesse off stream, and it's going to be JD versus Guilty on stream here. Shoutouts to grass. Oh man. What's what type of grass, right? Ayo. Shoutouts to Oregon. It's a great green state. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was mistaken on the brackets here, folks. I apologize. It is going to be Jesse and I thought they were playing off stream. It's going to be Jesse and Valiant on stream here, and I think after that's going to be Guilty and JC. Sorry, not JD. JC. We are at Game Realms in Burbank, California. You can follow us or find us at game-realms.com and also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. Like I said, Burbank, wonderful place to go, wonderful place to visit. You can make a trip out of it. You can make a whole trip if you'd like. How's it going, Guilty?
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. I was informing the viewers. It seemed I have this sort of internal clock in my head. How long has it been since I've explained the last time to like follow us on social media and stuff? So just going through that. I was explaining that Burbank is quite a nice place to visit. If you were to come, you can bundle it in with some other things. Disney headquarters are here. You can take a trip. Pixar. Go see your favorite movies, Hollywood stars. Dude, I don't know if people, for people that don't live in Los Angeles, you realize we're all friends with celebrities, right? Like when you
I'm
go
not from here, so.
Oh well, okay,
maybe...
so it's great. Well, you know you've been around a little bit. Like I know half the actors in Hollywood. I just hang out with them all the time. Dude, me and Brad Pitt, tight. We're cool.
Sick, I guess.
He, my cat and his dog play like they're friends.
Anyway, though.
Anyways,
We got the Street Fighter going on.
Do we really?
Yeah, we do actually.
My mistake.
Surprise, surprise. Here we go.
Versus Commander Jesse.
Damn, man. Alright. Here we go.
Jesse pulling out his Mika. You were expecting or you were wanting to see Dalzum, I imagine.
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I just kind of see how this, plays out. Because Valiant plays Macaulay against me, but I noticed he plays Bison against Jesse, so I wonder what that's about.
Interesting. The character counter specifically to the player, not something you see too often, I imagine.
I think you see it enough. Because the thing about this game is it's really about player tendencies. It's not so much about like the meta of the character if you can make it work.
Speaking
Street Fighter 5 is getting away with unsafe stuff. Like just things that are garbage and like sneaking it in between like the legit stuff. That's Street Fighter 5 basically.
Interesting. And on that same subject, how do you feel about the sort of push in the community recently to go to 3 out of 5 like we're trying tonight?
Whatever. Like I think it works for like smaller events.
Yes.
Like
of course,
I'm not gonna knock it, but it's not like I need it either. Like, I'm pretty, like I said, I'm just ambivalent. Like, whatever happens, happens. I've had tournaments before that were 3 out of 5. I played Marvel, that was 3 out of 5.
Right.
It's like, it's not necessarily. It's just, I think it's appropriate for the size of the event.
Gotcha. Well, so in the situation you described, where you say it's about sneaking in these sort of garbage things between other stuff, 3 out of 5 maybe makes it so the person can recognize that more, or maybe there's more opportunities for the person to pull out. Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that. Like, I think you get to play more. I think you get to understand more.
Right.
I think people are going to get hit by the same thing, like 3 matches straight. Like, I don't think that's, like, really a big difference. Like, if you don't have something prepared for it, you got to go home and prepare it.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, at the same time, like, if you're preparing something, you got to have, like, the field test part of it, too. So, if you just sit in training mode all day, then you're not actually going to get that experience doing it under pressure. So this gives you more opportunities to practice. It's just...
Yeah, it's good. It gives you more time. One of the things that you hear a lot of new people say is, I can do the combo in training mode, but I can never pull it off in a match. Yeah.
So, I think, my opinion, like, weekly tournaments like this, even monthly tournaments that are, still kind of local, like, those are pop quizzes, you know.
Yeah.
The majors are the exams. So
Yes.
the thing that really matters is the exam. So looking at it this way, it's like if you get the most practice out of your weekly pop quizzes, then you know you're maximizing what you're doing. I think one of the things is, you know, people need to show up, and you know there needs to be some incentive for people to drive, yada yada yada.
Definitely.
And you know, I think it's a little harder to sell the 24-hour subway down the road than it is, you know, the fact that you do have people here that you can learn a couple matchups from. You know, there's definitely like a community aspect to that.
Yeah.
You know.
I like the comparison to academia. Earlier we were talking about the idea of 3 out of 5 and 2 out of 3 in reference to, say, like a test that you take, right? So if you take a test that's on 4 chapters of material and the teacher gives you a test that has 1 question on it, your knowledge of those 4 chapters may not accurately be represented in your test score. So they were thinking like, well, the larger amount of questions, the better chance you have, but you also have to combat fatigue of taking a test and all that sort of things. So we're sort of balancing the idea of how many games can we play before we all go to sleep instead of efficiently running a tournament.
On that note, man, you gotta drop the announcer voice.
The announcer voice? What if it's just my voice?
I mean, man, you gotta like make a change for show business. Get an announcer voice.
Oh, get an announcer voice.
I mean, I was gonna say, you know, I assume it's a little hammed up for the camera.
I would say that I try to enunciate a little bit better, even though I'm still relatively new.
Man, just be you. It's like the fighting game community, you know? It's like people sniff that stuff out.
Okay. I think I guess you're the first to do that then, yes?
I mean, maybe the first to say something.
Well, so
No,
you're
I'm not telling you this because like I have it against you. It's because you show up every week and I see that you try and like everything. And that's just like my advice. It's just like be more you and let them like see who you are and a little less of like, you know, the idea of like what you assume people would want you to sound like. Because I kind of get that impression whenever I watch your comments.
Oh, okay, interesting. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree with you on the theory of it. Like I'd prefer not to. I guess I'm writing that line, but I know I'd prefer not to.
I understand.
Aim for something that I think people would want. I'd rather just be myself. But I think there's always.
I think there's like certain things like subconsciously, like, you know, you look for like validation and you look for like, you know, call and like response. Like this gets a response. This, you know, also maybe helps me get in the zone for what I need to do. I'm just saying, like, you know, at some point it's better that the people watching know who you are and your flavor and your opinions and your bias and everything that makes you flawed, but they can relate to that at the same time because they're watching it, you know, and there's kind of an atmosphere, especially with like this kind of thing. It's like, yo,
super
we're all
casual,
here
right.
in like, you know, a video game store to play like, you know, some Street Fighter or something, and here we go on the 9th pin. Oh yes, we are, you know, and he sunk the putt, you know, like, it's not necessarily the environment. And I think that, yeah, I like the fact that you show up, and I like the fact that like you do everything, which is why I'm trying to be constructive.
Oh no, please don't. Yeah, and don't. I don't know how it's coming off, but please don't take it as me being.
It's more like I'm an asshole by default.
No, I wouldn't say so at all. I I appreciate any constructive criticism.
That is baseless flattery, and you know it. Now, whenever I'm asking you to be real, you know, you gotta give me a little bit of shit too.
It's true.
You know, it's not just like, you know, sometimes it's me. Oh, you know, there's an interesting decision. It's like, man, you suck. Like, you know, like, think about how Azad commentates. Like,
right.
what would Azad say?
Azad
would definitely be like,
yeah, Azad
man,
would be.
What are you doing? Getting thrown? You don't tech?
Azad would be all over the place.
I tech.
Yeah.
You tech? Of course you tech, man. Like, you know, and it's just, it's shtick kind of at the same time, but, you know, you're still expressing yourself and having a little more fun with it. And I think that you stay too safe as a commentator.
All right, I will definitely try to go out there. That's funny. Well, no, because I totally relate with the idea of like this game and the environment. It's sort of when you talk about like bigger tournaments, you're talking about facilitating hype, right? You want to make these moments happen that are naturally exciting, and then the commentator sort of rides the energy, and it's definitely obvious and painful to have somebody overhype a moment that has no basis.
Do you take
in being
notes?
hyped. I sometimes go back and listen to my commentary, but I don't really like.
No, not notes on your commentary. Notes on players, like people, like.
Oh no,
the
not at
game.
all. Mm.
So like like let's say you got like Valiant, Jesse, me, Gamma. Like you got like a certain like stable of people that you can almost assume to show up, right?
Yeah.
So then like, research the characters that are actually like playing. Just so you have like an idea, like the characters, the players, their tendencies. Like when I play Hollywog, like I noticed the way that he plays is he just sits there and he looks for like buffers, like full screen. He'll just buffer, and like he'll never stop until he gets his buffer. And if you like think about it for a second, he will get his buffer. There's certain things just from observing people, like taking notes, like because that way you can get kind of the, I guess. Huh? Well, I was gonna say confidence in what you're saying whenever you're commentating.
I definitely have noticed like that's something that I've noticed player tendencies. Azad's one is easy to sort of pick up on, right? Because he has such interesting ways of playing. He uses certain tools more than others. JD being a similar way. So I guess I don't have any like physical notes on that, but it's something that you can't avoid but to pick up, right? People's player tendencies.
You can
like
get
that.
as good at anything, including the commentary thing, as you want to get.
Right.
So, it is what you want to put into it, but, if you do put in the effort, people will notice and there will be results and things like that. There's some commentators that are very, I feel like, sure of themselves whenever they commentate, and they ain't that great at it. Now, whenever I say, like, there's kind of an artificiality, and I almost want to say, like, I don't want to say an authenticity to the way that you carry your delivery, but it's more like, you don't feel comfortable in it yet, but you're showing up to get there. And I can kind of get that from the way that you articulate about the match and stuff like that. So, building your knowledge base gets a lot more like confident, like authentic confidence. So
right.
You can actually have like an ego about, your ability to communicate about the game and about the players that show up.
Yeah, lecturing on a subject you know something about is going to be very different from being like, well, who wants to, yeah, definitely.
But then, at the same time, someday you're going to be a new teacher. You kind of know the subject matter, and you got to go and you got to be like, hey, class, how's it going?
Right.
You're having a great day. And
right.
then gradually it kind of turns into, yeah, this is what you do. Here you go. And I'm an awesome history teacher, so we're going to watch Pink Floyd The Wall. Like, you kind of get that level of, like, jadedness through. Sorry, I haven't commentated the match at all. This is
typically what happens, so we're all good.
Yeah, I know.
This is losers final, something like that. Sorry, losers quarters. You're going to be facing the winner of this match.
Yeah.
No worries at all. And like I said, I appreciate it. I don't know. And yes, Jesse takes it.
Yeah, you can have a couple drinks.
Yeah, no, that's what our good friend who I try intentionally not to say his name because I don't want to have to say that multiple times on stream. Yeah, get a couple drinks in me.
Are you Neil?
I am Neil.
You are Neil. Stop being cocky, Neil.
Stop being cocky. Got to be less cocky. That is an inside joke between my friend and I. There was a funny story. I don't know if I want to go into it, but yes.
Okay.
That was guilty. She's going to be going up against whoever won that, Jesse. I imagine we will see a Dalsum mirror. Maybe since it's 3 out of 5, Jesse will do the Mika first. I'm curious what each player thinks about the matchup in that regard. But yes, Jesse taking over Valiant. It actually got really close at the end there, 2-2, and went down to the wire in terms of life bars at least.
Back.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me address the chat real quick. Sharonosaurus, how's it going? Hello to you. And mid-tiers, what's up? Mid-tiers, we asked you a question earlier. Someone, Gamer Harry, asked you what you thought of Karen, because they were saying that Karen is top tier, and since your name is mid-tiers, maybe you have an option or an opinion on placement in the tier list.
This is just a personal feeling of
Right.
mid-tier.
Well, that's the. Well, maybe. Okay, we're also saying there's always the personal biases of people and so on and so forth. Karen top 5 confirmed. Where'd Gamer Harry go? He's over there. I'll tell him later. Confirmed Karen top 5. We're here to hear first from mid tiers himself. Quote mid tiers. Ryu top 6. Get out of here. Ridiculous. Sith Duke with the Kappa Kipo. I see you. And once again, I've been abandoned. This happens to me pretty regularly. That's okay. There's some meta fighting games happening right now. Dude, that's some old school stuff. That's like you and your brother playing when you were younger, and your brother like hits you so you can't like finish the combo. It's messed up. And it is going to be Guilty versus Jesse. I was correct in my guess that Jesse was going with Mika first. Maybe it would have happened in 2 out of 3. Maybe it's because it's 3 out of 5. Well, granted, this is losers finals anyway, so it would have been 3 out of 5 regardless. But yeah, definitely trying it out before going to the madness that is a Dalsum mirror.
It's actually interesting. I wonder if they were to institute a 3 out of 5 that people would be more likely to try out new things just because they feel that they have a little bit more leeway on their matches.
More leeway, especially in terms of character counterpicking as well, right? Like, if I start out with this character, I at least have the I agree. That I think undoubtedly you would see that. Yeah.
Have you seen that a little bit more? The people choosing characters that they don't normally main or just a little bit are still in practice kind of thing.
It's hard to say. I don't think we saw it much. This game, the only reason we've seen it recently is with Abigail, just because the character's so ridiculous.
Right.
Like we had that.
He's daunting. Just like even just playing the game, like him standing next to him is just like, oh man.
His head covers the life bar.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous, right? That's I think I've seen a little bit of it with this game. I think the play style is a little bit less complex in general. You have easier combos, it's easier to pick up characters. So I think that this game you definitely see that more.
Right.
Whereas say like anime games, or you can spend 10 years learning a character and never master it, right? So it definitely I see that more. I don't know if that's a function of necessarily just Street Fighter V or the growth of the scene or esports in general or what it is, but
well, I mean, it shows that there's
the buffer of the standing medium kick rather dashes into it because why not? I think he thought the EX flying pancake would get through it, and Guilty takes game number 1.
No, I think there's pluses and minuses about kind of having those characters where you learn one character and you kind of go for it. I think one of the reasons that, especially with current games, the meta changes a lot. So every update could change your main into someone who's getting completely nerfed, and like especially if they're showing up too commonly in tournaments and in the scene. So being able to kind of switch between characters, I think, is becoming more of a thing that people want to kind of do.
You bring up an interesting point about the industry and games in general, and that we've entered a time where patches are a thing, right? So instead of say, like in the past, a game was a game, and that was it.
Right.
Now you, like you said, you have the ability for characters to change.
Right.
And it's not like they're going to say, well, which Street Fighter 5 do you play? I play patch 2.0, .8, whatever. It's like, no, you play Street Fighter 5. There's just the collective version that we all talk about. So, that's a huge thing that I think contributes to the ability or the mandate for players to be flexible in terms of their character roster.
Well, it's just continued. I think there's a general continued. When you used to play, like, I'm just going to use Street Fighter 2 as an example because it's like that's a game that never had any patches. It was like there's some characters who are probably unplayable just if you're playing in tournaments just because they're so difficult, and the meta is just against them. Their lowest tier, you know.
Yeah.
And the tier list is a lot more relevant, but now that you have these patches, it's like each time a patch comes through, you have to like almost in a way recalibrate your character, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good because it keeps the scene alive. It keeps it really fresh, and it keeps people really going. And especially for people who pick characters more so for the way they fight, and they have a chance at some point after a patch to be able to kind of take that character, all they learned, and actually utilize it if they went from lower tier to kind of mid or upper tier in what's gone.
Completely agree. It's an interesting landscape for especially professional players to sort of wander across, because it's new and no one really has a blueprint for it. You know, it's sort of, you have to adapt on the fly in so many ways. And Jesse edging it out on the second game there, tying it up 1-1 in losers finals here. So we have this match, grand finals, and then we're going home. We're all going home. We all lost the tournament.
Right.
This is the 40th win of Player 2.
Round 1.
Shout out to the chat, everyone that's in the chat right now, hanging out. New faces I see are Outlaw Sean and Sith Duke. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for joining us here at the Game Realms stream. You can find us at game-realms.com, as well as Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Facebook.
Have they commented on the fact that we're doing best 3 out of 5 out of 2 out of 3?
I've thrown it into chat for some discussion earlier, but no one's really taken the bait, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty in detail discussion, so it might take a little bit more nuance for people to type. But just as I say that, Mid Tiers is asking about, so what's up with the 3 out of 5? And I guess I'll tackle that question. Recently in Street Fighter V, the community has been some people in the community, I think most notably Christitarian, has been pushing towards the fact that 3 out of 5 should be standard because this game is too fast or too random or too whatever in 2 out of 3. So tonight has been a bit of an experiment by the organizers of the tournament, and they're collecting data and metrics on it.
Yes.
They're timing the length of matches. They're keeping track of times where a person would have lost a 2 out of 3 but won the 3 out of 5. So a 2-1 or a 3-1 or a 3-2. Sorry, 3-2 or 3-1 depending. So that's sort of the purpose of this right now. And we had a smaller turnout tonight, so generally the main constraint against 3 out of 5 is the logistic of time, and since we have less people, there's a higher chance for us to finish the tournament, start the tournament, run the tournament efficiently. So they figured, why not try tonight, right? So that's the idea, Mr. or Mrs. Mid-Tier.
It's just I think we were talking about this earlier, but it just eliminates kind of the randomness that is involved. The idea is that the more matches you play, the people who are a little bit higher or who are better at the game will actually kind of show through, because you kind of play above the randomness.
Right.
So it's interesting, and we are fortunate to have like a decent turnout today, but a bit of a smaller one, so we didn't have to worry about the time factor, especially if the wording is go over.
Yes.
So.
And Jesse takes game number 2 here. Jesse getting so much work done with Giant Swing today. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that's the 9th or 10th round that's ended with Giant Swing. So good work on him.
It's the finisher in wrestling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, it's Mika's signature move. Dude, I forgot about that. How each wrestler used to have like signature moves, and like the people's elbow and like rock bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I like the rock. He's my favorite.
Yeah. I had like my friend who was really obsessed with that when I was younger. Loved Triple H.
Ooh, the pedigree.
Right, the pedigree.
I
just remember like playing the WWF video games and WWE when they turned over.
Dude, the N64 games were so legit.
Right, they were so good. And so you do the pedigree, and then I would play some of it would play Rey Mysterio, and you do the 619, I believe it was, where he flies around like the ring and like does all this other stuff.
Crazy.
It's crazy. No, like he's a masked wrestler from, and it's just like he does the high flying.
Well, him and his son, was it both of them? Because like Rey Mysterio and Rey Mysterio Jr., right?
Yeah.
Where like both of them were, man.
That was a time. That was great because it makes you like they're almost superhero status at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. They brought it was because it was supposed to be like luchador-esque, right? With the mask. Yeah. That was great. Oh yeah, Sith Duke in chat pointing out that Mika does have the Stone Cold Stunner as her universal. That's right.
That's true.
I think they call it in this game the Frankensteiner, which is like, just call it the Stunner, dude. Like, pay that money. Like, I'm sure Stone Cold Steve Austin is sitting wherever he is in his, mansion in like the South somewhere, drinking a cold one. I'm sure that he's not mad. I'm sure he's like, fine. That's totally fine. You can like have it. Just call it the Stunner. We all know it's the Stunner. And Jesse takes it 3-1 over Guilty, taking it with Mika the whole time. Good stuff to him. And he's going to be meeting Gamma in Grand Finals. Did he play Gamma earlier? He actually hasn't this tournament. So this is going to be a run back of the same situation as last week, where Jesse was in the loser side going against Gamma. I think. Am I right there? I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. Javi, that wasn't even losers finals. That was losers semi. So it's going to be losers finals. Jesse versus Javi, and then the winner of that will go up against Gamma, who is waiting at grand finals. I apologize. I thought that was losers finals.
Now it's
the losers finals. Correct.
I guess the question is that if we're choosing to do this 3-5, 3-5, the best 3 out of 5, should we do finals at 4 and 7?
So I thought it was going to be just 3 out of 5 all the way through. Although I was going to check with Jesse, like, did we want to do that? How high do these numbers go? I don't know why that's such a funny idea to me. Of like 6 out of 11.
It's just because it seems like at some point you're just like, just give up, man. Like,
Right.
That should be enough. You know, if you can keep going up with numbers, that like you're obviously asking for something.
Right. You have to ride the absurdity curve all the way up. What's up?
Yeah, Jesse.
I think they are. Three out of 5 makes sense for players, for viewers, and TOs though. ... Odd Jason with a good point. Well, I guess it depends, right? What type of viewer that you are. If you're a viewer that just likes the tournament, right? Or sorry, just likes the game. If you're interested in the game, more games means more time, which is better for you. But if you're a person who likes watching the progress, then maybe it's something that maybe it's something that stops from the progression of the tournament. You sort of following along with the bracket, right? So that could be a thing. 3-1. Luigi Baby 2020 asking us if this goes on every week.
Yes.
It does. This is a weekly tournament. And
Game Realms, a lot of people end up coming here at around 7:38. This tournament started at 9, just because that's usually when we can wrangle people together and make sure everyone is there on time. But it does happen every week. We do have other tournaments that go on.
We do.
On Fridays we have Skullgirls, Vampire Savior, Vampire Hunter, and a couple other anime fighting games, and just kind of variation. I know they were doing Tekken for a little while. On every other Saturday, we do Super Smash Brothers, the newest one. I know a lot of people are asking for Melee, but it's hard to get all the discs and all the GameCubes and all the CRTs together, just because it takes up a lot of space and a lot of money. I think it's in our future. I just don't think we will do it eventually. And we're more than happy to.
Luigi Baby 2020 asking a follow-up question, which is, can I sign up?
Yeah, most definitely. So we
So not tonight.
not tonight, obviously.
Oh, they're asking, does this go on online tournament? This is a local tournament.
is
So
local.
so in order to participate, you have to physically be here
For the tournament.
for the tournament tonight.
Yeah.
So I know that's sort of that's unfair to people that are geographically distant or maybe interdimensionally not able
Right.
to travel to us.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a physical, in-person tournament. As we can sort of see when I lift up the camera here, this is a game store, Game Realms in Burbank, that they host all these fun tournaments and get-togethers and etc. So gotta make it out.
So one of the big things about it is that we're a relatively new store. We're about a year and 6 months old. We are trying to really kind of break into the tournament scene. We saw a need for it in the Southern California, the Valley, LA area, because there's I know there's Wednesday night fights, and that's out in Pomona-esque area. I think there's a couple more Northridge, and there's some in the
Wait, would you say Wednesday Night Fights is Pomona-esque?
yeah, I was in Pomona. Right?
Wednesday Night Fights is now in Orange County.
Oh, it's in Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in Orange County. It was in Pomona, right? Or was am I crazy?
I think historically Evo had some connections to Pomona,
Oh, okay.
but
Something else was associated with Pomona then. I apologize. I was totally wrong. Yeah, so Wednesday Night Fights is in the OC, but there was nothing really for the Valley. And we're trying to open up and try to expand the store and have more of this stuff going on. I think in the future, I don't know, I don't know if it's within the next year or so. I know that they do want to expand, create a really esports gaming room. And I don't think if we get to that level, and if there's enough people willing, because I'm coming back to this, is that we would be more than happy to do an online tournament or try to support one. It's mostly local for right now because that's just how we do it. But if there's enough people who want it, I'm sure we can try and figure it out. We're open to really all the ideas, and we really want gamers to kind of come together over all of this. So, yeah.
yeah, exciting stuff. Game Realms is a great place, and hopefully, all of these new opportunities and avenues can be facilitated through here because you guys are awesome, and the space is great. It's in a great neighborhood. Burbank is so much fun to be around, and the community here is awesome too. So good stuff.
The community is great. And again, that stuff would be kind of far out, but I'm just saying that if
We're looking at the horizon.
You're
Got the big picture.
You're looking at the horizon line, but it's in the cards. I eventually, and it's as long as there's enough support for this. Like we want to do as many fighting games and fighting game tournaments as possible, as well as other tournaments for people who might be more into other different types of games. It's just that we kind of want to be that bastion for a lot of gamers who want to find a home and really want to play with each other, and that's kind of the spirit of gaming, right?
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Javirog taking that first game against Jesse. Both of these players playing their non-standard characters. Of course, Javirog's namesake gives you the hint of who he normally plays, and Jesse normally plays in Dalsum, sticking to Mika. Has been sticking to Mika this entire tournament, if I remember correctly. Mid-tiers asking Mika in chat. And yes, Mika, hi, Mika des. I don't know if there's a more simple way to say that in Japanese, but yes. He's sticking with Mika this tournament. He's done this a couple times before, and I think I don't know if it's a personal choice or if it's a matchup choice or what it is. Excellent reactions there from Javirog, using the EX Rasenha to beat out the dropkick and Nadeshiko mix-up. Good stuff. Mid-tier's also commenting that Javi has a nice Karen. He does. He has a nice hit confirm into critical art there to take his first game, and right now Jesse is trying to bring it back. Also, people in chat telling you to open a store in Georgia. Just like that, huh?
Yeah, just you know what, I'll let them know.
Let me just fly in and do that. Patience here. Javirog in the corner. Has to deal with some Nadeshiko mix-up. Command grab in the corner. Both players on full critical art. Huge opportunity for damage here from Javi, and he stays in front. Nobody misses the confirm. I feel like he could have taken it there with critical art. And Nadeshiko with the belly flop.
Gotta get those friends to help you out.
Sometimes, dude, with a little help from my friends, shout out to the Beatles.
Right.
Has that sentence ever been uttered before? I don't think anyone's ever done shout out. Like, because shout outs generally, I feel like shout outs started as shout outs to these people that you don't know about, right? Like, shout outs to my friends back in blank. I don't think anyone's ever had to go, who are the Beatles?
Yeah. Shout outs to the Beatles, you know, small band from Liverpool. Might not know them.
Yeah, no, I just, yeah, hey.
They got their, it's underground, their music.
Yeah, I loved how when Kanye West released Only One, where he had, it was like semi-produced, but also Paul McCartney had some singing in it, right? And I remember there was a great time online where people were able to say things like, man, Paul McCartney's so lucky that Kanye put him on a song. This is like really going to help his career. It was so funny.
I feel like that's so wrong.
It was so funny because you're just looking at the people that wrote it and you're like, okay, either you are 7 years old, or you're trolling and you're succeeding.
I think they did that with Justin Bieber at some point as well, with just a famous person like, oh, I'm not this famous person's doing this. I'm not as specific as you, but I just remember something similar about that because they didn't know who Justin Bieber was playing with, but it was actually like some really famous person.
Yeah,
and they're like, wow, this person, I don't know them, but they had played pretty decent music, and I'm happy Justin Bieber's really kind of going out of his way to show them, you know?
This Stevie Ray Vaughan character can sure play a guitar, huh? It's like, oh my god. Anyways, Hyrog possibly having a guile moment here. Dun, 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 dun. Block the overhead, and Jesse gets the confirm from counter hit strong into EX Flying Peach. Brackets. I'll post that for you, sir, if I don't accidentally post the wrong thing here. This is Grand Finals. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I should put who is in losers here.
This is
Sorry, losers finals. I'm so like, I'm out of it today. I blame the 28 hours of driving the past 2 days.
What? 28 hours?
I went to Oregon for the eclipse.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that's worth it, right?
Yeah, I
for
the
the 2
okay.
minutes
So
that I watched the eclipse?
the 2 minutes that I watched it was great, but like right afterwards, I did feel kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to drive back now. But no, it was in the moment. It was totally worth it. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a hint of human psychology and the difference between right and wrong. But who knows?
I don't know if it's right and wrong. It's more of I feel like this is a really good idea at the time.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you realize what you have to go through. Like, I went on a cross-country train trip once because my dad just doesn't like flying, and I have family on the East Coast. So like the best way to get there.
It's the trade confirmed. That was so sick. Continue.
Yeah. We're just gonna. So I'm on a cross-country train trip, and one of the big things about a cross-country train trip is that it's great. It's 3 days cross-country. You got to see the homeland of America.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's cool. I like one of the favorite moments was I saw a lightning storm in New Mexico.
Wow.
Right. It's the most amazing thing. But then you go there, and then you have to come back, which is exactly the same thing. And you're like
In reverse.
You're in reverse, and you're like, and I went through a lot of farm country, and it's like it's the same farm. It's honestly like it doesn't look that different from the train.
No.
So it's like, yeah, going there was great. Coming back is like it's a whole other monster.
Definitely. I'm gonna keep a tracker of how many times Jesse finishes a round with Giant Swing because this is getting ridiculous. This is a pandemic that has gotten out of control. Sith Duke commenting, why does Karen's critical art always seem to do that so much damage? I don't know. In fact, if we weren't in an age where we could data mine all the files for games, I would suspect that Capcom put a little randomizer into her damage and says, hey, you know what, sometimes it's going to do 560 and sometimes it's going to do 520 or whatever. Similar to old school games that had, if I remember correctly, really strange determinants. Ooh, the dash forward into the command grab. Excellent read there. But EX% has to stop the pressure after that. Things like in MVC 2, I seem to remember someone finding out that Storm's DH or Hyper Art, the Hailstorm, her one that she would do a lot, the amount of hail that rains, it's affected by how much you mash, but also affected by the second digit on the clock in the game timer. So like 7 to 9, 4 to 6, 2 to 3, and then 0 to 1 all had different amounts of hail that would come out.
And each individual piece of hail would do damage.
Well, it would do damage. Yeah. So then depending on when you did the storm, sometimes it would do. Says through asking, isn't it 340 damage? Oh yeah, I was just throwing out random numbers. I apologize. I didn't mean to confuse anything there. Well, yeah, even with high scaling, I mean, critical arts have that minimum scaling in this game, so that's also something too. We don't have the old Street Fighter 4 situations where you can get a Ultra doing like a total of 30 damage because it's at 5% scaling or something. I believe 4 had a minimum of 10% scaling, so that's also that. Jesse finally missing a command grab. And the shimmy will take that round for Javirog. This is, I believe, match point for Javirog. I'm going to keep that quiet because I'm not sure. But I think that's the case. And this or bracket? Or just chat? Okay. Gamma doing his scouting outs. Which is good, right? I mean, if Sun Tzu said anything correct, right? Art of War, got to know your enemy before you defeat them. Wow, I butchered the hell out of that.
Yeah,
that was the least poetic way of describing that possible.
It's like know your enemy more than you know yourself.
I did the typical meme you see now of like it's just Neil deGrasse Tyson's face over a Cosmos and then a really bad attributed quote that like is in
doesn't make any sense.
No pronunciation, the grammar's bad.
If Abraham, I like to quote Abraham Lincoln, don't believe everything you read on
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. Jesse trying to finish it off here, staying in. Blocks the overhead. Both players full critical art. What will happen? The charge drop kick. And the stand medium kick will take it. We're up at 2-2 now. Jesse just grinding it out. Refusing to die. That charge drop kick was definitely an interesting scenario. You put yourself in such a bad position by blocking it. You're at high disadvantage in terms of block stun, and it's Mika's within command grab range. So I want to see how Javirog can adjust to that.
So here's my thing, and this is the I think Commander Jesse is actually going on. He's on a streak of actually playing as his way through the losers bracket. I think he played the last 3 games, and so this would be really interesting information, just based on at least the length that he's been playing and how he feels afterwards. Because there will be players who will come up against multiple subsequent games, and if he feels like that's really affected his play, just because he's there and he's playing, and like you just as you play more, sometimes you get like that burn and you get that frustration and not actually being able to do stuff because your concentration starts to step. You can only concentrate for so long. But
No, yeah, I mean, like you said before, concentration is definitely a resource, and that's one of the things that I think people start to think about once they start playing games competitively. It's just as everything else virtually in the game is a resource. So is your mind. And the dichotomy that people sometimes face when they go through a huge losers bracket run is, how is the fact that you're getting tired competing with the fact that you're staying warm the entire time? So someone like Gamma, who's been in the waiting grand finals this entire time, I think it's been maybe 20-30 minutes since he played his last match, as Javirog takes it, and he will be going to face Gamma in grand finals, trying to come from losers bracket. So that's going to be Jesse in 3rd place. And the winner of Gamma and Javi will be up next. Or sorry, grand finals between Gamma and Javi will be up next. Gamma, of course, in winner's side, which I will make sure this time to elucidate in chat. Or sorry, not in chat, with the overlay. Did I accidentally happen? Once again, guys, thanks for joining us. It is almost 11:30 now. and we are finishing up the tournaments here.
Yep, this is the last round, the winners last finals.
Yes, grand finals.
Grand finals.
Grand finals. One more shout out before we head into this, because this is potentially a best 6 out of 11.
Yeah.
If it's 2 3 out of 5s. Wait, how does that work?
Or no, it would have been 6 out of 10. Yeah?
That can't be how that works, though, right?
Yeah. 6 out of 10. No, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
No, but I think it's if you do, technically, since you're doing 2 3 out of 5s, it makes sense. If you see it,
Do smaller sets not multiply? Or does it? Because it doesn't scale linearly. It scales.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
because it doesn't multiply because of the fact that you always have to have an odd number as the bottom number.
Interesting
Like
stuff.
NBA.
Yeah, so before we jump in real quick, GameRealms.com, game-realms.com, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. Grand finals here in Burbank, California. How's that for commentary voice?
Grand finals in Burbank, California.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
We find ourselves here in Burbank, California. for the-
Beautiful Burbank, California.
Johnny Carson used to say that.
Beautiful Burbank, California.
Yeah,
Is that where I've heard it somehow?
downtown Burbank, California.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
because it was literally like just a street. And he's just as a joke. He's just like, and
Okay.
we're coming to you live from beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And
Just
it's
a
like,
patch of dirt.
right? It's not. It wasn't anything at the time.
That's great. Definitely a lull in the action right now.
Right.
Sith Duke commenting that this is Waifu Fighter 5.
Damn right.
Can't disagree with that. This is
I mean, post your favorite waifu on there.
yeah, dude. Shoutouts to waifus. Who's gonna claim who? Are people gonna have to fight over
fight over
Camis
the
and
waifu,
Karens and
yeah.
Mikas and so on and so forth?
I mean, everyone has their preference, of course.
Yeah, waifu's not typically a word that you see in mainstream fighting games. Definitely more reserved for, I feel like, animes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Look, I think, and this is the waifus becoming more common. Waifus are pretty much everywhere. It's becoming more accepted to have a waifu. So I think.
Well, let's not get crazy.
This is revolution happening right now.
Accepted is a strong word.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We're the first one.
This dude claiming Cammy. Oh man, a flag has been planted. Let's see how everyone reacts. Hobby Rod taking the first. Did somebody win a game already? Oh god. No, it's 1-1. Okay, cool. 1-1 in terms of round. Mr. Owner Bay. Did I just hear a Street Fighter 4 KO sound? I gotta go play games. Anyways, Owner Bay saying that he doesn't know what waifus are and that he is glad. Number one, I don't believe you. You're in Twitch chat. I can't imagine that you occupy this space of the internet and don't know what a waifu is.
It is adjacent. That space of the internet is literally adjacent to Twitch.
Yes. So number one, I don't believe you. And number two, dude, why are you glad that you don't know? Is that's just celebrating the ignorance of your
right.
fellow gamers, right?
You never know what a waifu is until you actually do. It's not a bad thing until you actually know what it is.
I mean, maybe he is legitimately confused. He's asking questions. So it's an anime woman? I guess. There's
That's
more
where
to it
kind
than
of
that.
where it started. It's just someone that you're you support. I don't know.
Right. That's like saying a shovel is a stick in a piece of metal.
Right.
It's like, nah. I guess that's what it is, but
you put those two together, I guess. Yeah.
it's a synergy, right? The sum of its parts is greater than something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gamma going up game number one in this interesting discussion on waifus. Okay, look. So I'll get this out of the way.
Fight.
Waifus are something that I think most people enjoy ironically.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's and there's a danger in that it's that the irony is lost on some, and then that is almost a permit for further for people that don't understand it to go a little too crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that that's an important and sort of fun thing to understand, is that you can laugh at yourself, you can laugh at your community, you can laugh at your culture and go, I don't have to take us super seriously, right? which I think every community can benefit from.
Yeah, it's. I think there's people who take it obviously seriously. I think it started off kind of seriously, but it's one of those things where you see like a character in a show or a character in a video game. They do this with Overwatch as well. That whole like
definitely.
May is Bay type thing.
May is Bay.
And it's just like it's a character that you find like is attractive or something, or you just like playing with in a video game person, for instance, and it's just no other reason than you're just like, oh, they're cool. And it's just like you say they're waifu material just because you know you usually play them and it's kind of your favorite character. And then I think there's the male equivalent of husbando or something.
This is where I start to fade into. I've heard of that
It's
phrase.
not as
I
common,
I feel like that's just. Wasn't that just like a reaction joke?
It is a reaction joke.
Okay.
Like it's not. It's. I mean, it's a reaction joke to a joke. So like it's. The bigger joke with the waifu thing is that people call like say your waifu is trash, just because it's just funny. Like it's just like literally like you're picking the worst character. Your waifu is trash.
Well, and it's this sort of vicarious competition in that it reminds me of kids on the playground saying my dad can beat up your dad.
Right.
Like my waifu's better than your wife.
Right. It's like on what grounds?
We're going further into vocabulary here. Asking about otakus. You have quite the internet rabbit. If you're not trolling, which I still hold on the table that you are. If you're legitimately confused by that, you have quite the internet rabbit hole to go down to tonight.
Again, it is adjacent to Twitch.
It's like not talking to your neighbors.
Right.
It's like not realizing that your neighbors are people that have things in common. Just hey, knock on the door sometimes. If you make a casserole and ring the doorbell.
Let's put it this way for an otaku. So there's some people who play video games professionally. Well, there's other people who spend the exact same amount of time watching anime.
Yeah.
So, and those usually tend to be people who are otakus. Just someone who's a great fan, but like
otaku literally means great fan, right?
Right, something like that.
I can.
I got you. How is the?
So is this been so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hit stop at the end.
If it stops,
So do lap.
second start, no laughing.
Be on guard.
Perfect, will do. Some people heading out. I'm taking over some data requisition duties. Is that the right word? I don't know. Anywho,
Round one.
Javirog's switching to his namesake here. See if he can adapt. Once again, he's in loser, so this game is match and tournament point for Gamma. Yes, since Fifth pointing out that this is now officially waifu versus husbando. We've come full circle. Everything is everything's in place.
Round two. Fight.
Good anti-air by Javirog using the back strong, but, or maybe just stand strong, I think is it. Gamma with the correct read using the EX. the EX cannon spike. Turnaround punch gets nothing. Some sort of spacing going on here. A lot of normals whiffing. Both characters playing pretty safe. Javirog's needs to get in with the life deficit. Starts off with a V-trigger, activate, throw. V-trigger running out, looking for a way in. Gotta imagine he's holding another turn punch, right? Gets the big jump in. God, that jump fierce. So crazy. Should do it. No, magic pixel for Javirog. The EX hooligan into throw. It'll get you every time. And now we are, I believe, on tournament round for Javirog. turnaround punch. Didn't sound like a huge amount of time charge. Reversal. Ooh, knee bullet! God, that move is so cool. Good defense from Javi, but it finally cracks. Shiro started out again. Both characters low on resources. Finally, V-trigger available for Rock, and it's a stun. And he definitely should be able to finish it out here. He does, and that will do it. Gamma taking it 3-0 in the winner's side of the grand finals. And he finishes as the winner of the tournament, not dropping a single game. Or sorry, maybe games, but not a match rather. Going through it all the way on the winner's side. And hopefully we'll have him over for a little post-tournament interview. Let's check with people in chat real quick. Just like last time when Jesse was we talked to Jesse after the tournament. Anyone in chat, if you want to, please feel free to post a question for Gamma if you have any, and we'll try to answer that. If you ever wanted to know, get inside the mind of this Kami player, we can check it out. We get his thoughts on the 3 out of 5, get his thoughts on the tournament, get a little update, anything he's learned about the game recently. We can get maybe his reactions to the MVCI trailer, DBVZ trailer. Get his different his takes on things. Ooh, I also saw a tweet from him earlier that I was going to comment on, so we'll see on that. So we're just waiting. Hopefully Gamma can come over and
I'm gonna evacuate my
post.
because there's someone more important than I.
Well, hey, thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you very much.
Sir Gamma, if you want to hang out for a little bit, this has become maybe a familiar chair for you, but I posted it out to the chat if they have any questions to let me know. But I wanted to ask you about a few things. Specifically, the thing that's been on everyone's mind from tonight. What do you think about the 3 out of 5 all the way through?
I like a lot.
Like it a lot?
Yeah, because you can get more opportunity to adapt to your, the guy that you're playing with. Because it's always like, probably right now it's like all players that came tonight, it's like players that I played before.
Right.
But they usually try to adapt, like they usually try to change something from the last time that they played because everyone is learning. So if you start like catching what they are doing, like in the first 2-second match, I don't know, like you can get like to step up on his game and do different things. So I think that also like everyone can get like a higher level with this format, because you can get to learn more, you can get to play a little bit more and to adapt to the guy that you're playing. And also when you are playing like in a super big tournament and you're playing maybe against someone that you don't know at all and it's a very new style, you need to adapt. Like
extra time helps.
Extra time, yeah. This helps like a lot. In my opinion, this is excellent. I like it a lot. I was discussing this with Chris Tatarian and Brent last tournament.
I was going to say Chris Tatarian had been on Twitter a fairly big proponent of this. He wants this, right?
Also, so this happens the last weekend. On Saturday, we play on CSR Saga.
Oh, that's right.
And we were talking about like, was Brent, Chris, and me. We were like the three of us. We were sent to losers or eliminated by Charlie Sneakali. So we were complaining about the character, and we were more like, you know what? Probably it's not the character. It's probably that you don't get the time to adapt. And I was like, this game is too fast. Sometimes you just lose in 4 minutes. It used to be not like that. It's different. This game is super fast.
As it gets optimized, people get the setups, people get the vortexes, people get the vortexes per se, but the highest damage combos, they get all the options down. Yeah, definitely can go faster.
Even when you're using like low pace character, the game goes really fast. Like if you're playing, I don't know, Dalsim and Zangief, it's not the same like it used to be. So this goes faster, and sometimes you don't even get like to know what happened and why are you doing wrong, because this is too fast, and they are now putting some extra rules to the game. Then in between you only have 30 seconds to wait, and you don't have you don't even have like time to chill out and breathe and think what you're doing wrong. That's very bad for me.
Right.
So right now this format, I think it's I don't know. I like it a lot. The idea that they run this tournament 3 out of 5 completely just to try. I think that the time it was okay. This the tournament is not that.
No, not that late. We had a
late.
small time turnaround. Tonight was a great way to test it, right? Because we had a little bit smaller. Didn't have to worry about it becoming too hard to manage.
But the thing is that everyone was excited about it. Everyone. I haven't seen or hear about one player complaining about this format. And if you see it like in this way, we are the customers.
True.
So TOs may be complaining about this this can be like this. It's like we are the customers. We are like who wants to play for the tournaments.
Right.
And if one TO decides that one big major is going to be running on 3 out of 5, and everyone loves it.
Yeah, much more entrance, much more. Yeah.
Yeah. All the other TOs should think about move on and start doing different the things different. Like maybe get more consoles. I don't know. But if this is how the game has been evolving,
right?
Because it's part of the game, because it's fast, it's like other games has been the same. Like Marvel, because the game was super fast.
Yeah, they made that switch pretty early on, if I remember correctly, right? Because it started off still as 2 out of 3.
Because it was super fast.
Yeah.
So KOF is not like 3 out of 5, but still like you have like a lot of rounds
3 health
to play.
bars. Yeah.
It's that's the way that the game has been evolving.
Yes.
So I think that everyone should move on, or at least try, because everyone is like, you should try, and TOs are like, there is no way that we can do it, but they are not even trying. So that's why I like about this tournament, running all the tournament.
Yeah. So you bring up a great point in that it's there. We don't. I brought this up earlier. We don't have like we're not a professional sport. We don't have this. We don't have like a board that we have to report to, like a governing body. We can make what we think works.
Yeah.
And so it's good that you mentioned like we might as well try. We might as well try to do things that help the community, help the players, make it a better experience for everybody. So
is it Capcom Cup running 3 out of 5?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I don't know.
Why did they do that? Like, that's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. I don't know.
Just think about the one reason that they moved to 3 out of 5. It's a top 32, right? Like
yeah.
It runs in 2 days, but they are streaming all matches.
All the matches, yeah.
But think about why are they running this tournament like 3 out of 5? People think that it's because they want to see more of these players, right?
Mm-hmm. Or well, I mean, just more matches means more stream time, means more players, means more viewers, means everything. I mean, if you can have more of that, it's great. I think the only problem is logistics, right? If we could pause time, you'd love to run a 1st to 10 with everybody, right? Because you would say I'm sure that the outcome of the match was the right one. I'm sure that the person who was better at that moment won. Whereas like one game would be terrifying, right? You go, I don't know, maybe I might lose the first game. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Maybe you feel more comfortable trying new things, playing your game in a long set, because you know that you're not gonna be like, you know, if you lose one match, you are halfway to lose.
Halfway to losing, crazy.
So
yeah.
The other thing that I saw today, and it was very interesting, is that I saw a lot of players using their secondary characters just to try, and it's still like they lose for the first match, they move to the other character.
Yep.
And they got the opportunity to, let me try if this character works against yours.
In a tournament setting, in all the environments, right? And a good segue, someone in chat is asking, who is your alt? And then the follow-up question is, are all of Cammy's character matchups favorable? I think we talked about this once afterwards. Once after a tournament. I don't remember if you had a specific secondary character that you were playing.
I've been playing lately on casuals, Guile. But still, I don't have like my punishes and point. But it's still having fun with the character. I'm trying to play another character that is not like super offensive,
right?
And it still can deal with those bad characters that bad matchups for Cammy. So Guile should be like a very good idea, but still not playing with Guile on tournament until I feel comfortable with him.
Speaking of Cammy's character matchups, are there any ones that particularly stick out in your mind in terms of bad matchups for Cammy?
Maybe for me, it's right now the most problematic for me. It's Bison. Because Bison is hard. It's hard to get in. It's he has a lot of damage. Let's say that it's not like super bad man. It's not 6-4, but it's still like it's slightly on Bison's favor.
Gotcha.
And the thing is that probably Zangief's is worst, but there is no Zangief players out there. Like it's only a few.
And if they get to the point in the tournament where you'll meet, then maybe they won't.
Like
hopefully they faced a bunch of Dolphins
if
earlier.
I go to a local tournament, let's say that last weekend, so-called Saga, it was like Pino, Valiant, Dotted, or Boy With You, or whatever it is, Sat. There were like a lot of Bison players, and they are all playing very different because their styles are super different. Valiant goes for a little bit more like mix-ups, and sometimes he attacks. He goes back and forth. He spends like a lot of meter to go in. It's a little bit more aggressive. Assad, it's super patient. He wants to be laming you, and he wants you to be like impatient. And Pinoy, he adapts very fast. He doesn't like spend at all the bar, and he has super good neutral game. So different, very very different styles. So practically, I'm learning 3 different matchups with same character.
That's funny.
But I've been learning a lot.
3 different Bison matchups. I didn't think about that. Based on the people that you normally will run into at these different tournaments. Cool. As a parting question for you, I randomly saw it on Twitter. You posted it out. I think it was it today or yesterday. You said I need a training partner. How's that search going? Are you actively looking for somebody right now?
The thing is that
did anyone DM you after that? Like, hey man, like I'll be your training partner.
Nah, I actually was trying to get someone to know about this and maybe tell me, you know what, we can train out of the tournaments. But still, there is no one that it's telling me that they want to be. The thing is that
everyone's scared. They don't want to get beaten over and over again.
No. Because I usually share like the information. I've been playing, sharing a lot of information and tech with JB because he plays with Cammy.
Cammy as well.
So he sometimes gets close to me and he says like, you can do this, and I found this new setup, and but it's not like having a training partner, because training partner means that he's gonna be a little bit more serious. You're gonna have like maybe once in a week time just to, I have difficulties with this specific things. Let's get into the training and find out something like that works out for this specific situation, character, something a little bit more like serious. It's kind of difficult for me because I'm new to this city, and maybe it's because it would be taking a little bit more time to find someone, but it's still like I'm open to someone that told me like wants to train out of tournaments.
Definitely, no, and we've seen it, I think, most recently with the comments that Taquito made after Evo, right? Where they said, wow, you did such a good job against Punk's Karen, blah, blah, blah. And he attributed it to Mago
I love that
thing,
because
right?
he was not taking all the
credit.
And he was very humble. And he was like, probably it's not only the character, it's just the company and someone that is still like, see how you are like, motivated, and he motivates, and they see it like very different. Like, we have to find out something else, like,
right?
Because there are some situations and specific things that you can get to see alone in the training mode, because it's kind of hard. And also, it's always very good idea to have someone that is telling you like, why don't you just try these other things? Because sometimes you just got like in your own idea and try something, like you don't think out of the box. And when you're playing with someone else, they give you more ideas and you start like thinking very different, and you're right, like probably this would work. So that's the main idea of having like a training partner, is just to to get better, it doesn't mean like a super specific character. It means that you can, like, two heads are gonna be thinking better than one.
Exactly. Yes, I completely agree on all points. So I hope someone realizes that they can get a lot, because it's like you said, it's mutually beneficial. They help you, you help them, you guys both get better. So I hope that somebody hits you up and you find something, because it's definitely a way to get better. People saying GG to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching the tournament.
And speaking of that, since I saw that on Twitter, let people know where they can find you on Twitter. It's what was it? It's
Gamma Original.
Gamma Original. That's right.
Only one M, no spaces, just like that. Gamma Original.
At Gamma Original. Make sure to follow him, and follow us at Game Realms at Twitter, or Game_Realms, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. My name is Neil, aka Space and Cowboy. Thank you for joining me. We're nearly at midnight tonight, and that's going to be the close of the tournament and Tuesday. We will see you guys next week. Hopefully you'll be here as well.
I'll be here always.
Try to retake your tournament throne.
Yeah, I have to.
You've
learn more.
You've won 3 out of the last 4 tournaments. So very congratulations to you. You're killing it.
Thank you.
And so next week we will see you guys. Same Batman time, same Batman channel.
Okay. See you guys.
See you guys.